if you were popped into the Turnip universe immediately, right now, what would your survival strategy be?
I would try not to. I try to end it all as quickly as possible. It's a terrifying, horrible place.
So, it is the end of 2023. TurnipCon, the biggest Turnip28 event in existence, has run 3 times now. And every single time I promised myself and I promised people that I would do a video on it, about the event, about the planning, just sharing some cool stuff about Turnip28. And I got hung up on perfection. For the better part of 7 months, I think, I've rewritten this video, I've taken clips, I've deleted clips, I've done all sorts of little things. And I forgot the beauty that lies with mediocrity. So here we are. This is going to be a mediocre video. Managing expectations early. What we're going to do is share a cup of tea, grab whatever you want, paint in the background if you want to put this video in another tab. I know my target audience. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about the largest Turnip28 event, at time of filming at the very least, called TurnipCon. Who are we talking to now?
I'm Tara, also known as Mangler on the Discord, and Mangler Minis on Instagram.
So, any stopping?
I am McLance, also known as Plastic Cracked.
Not plastic crack.
Not plastic cracked, I'm cracked, I'm losing my mind.
The legal distinction. Cool, and what cults are you two running today?
Great Proboscis.
Great Proboscis.
Yeah. Proboscis boys.
Proboscis boys, woo.
Uprising of the Last.
Feast of the Charybdis.
Crabs.
I'm playing Wandering Moritz.
It's really important to say that this is a fluke. Like, I don't have a history in events. I've organised stuff for my friends. I feel like I've been the organiser of my local, like, gaming group. But all I did was just organise. I started small. So, and that's kind of how TurnipCon started. All it really consisted of was, I think, 4 of us, maybe 5 of us, who all assembled in Bristol for just an afternoon of gaming. That was it. There was no ulterior motive. It was a few people who had turnip armies, because I think I can speak for those that attended at the time and got into it early on, was the idea of, it's like a cool art project. It's fun, it's quirky, it's something very different, it's a very different aesthetic. It's a bit of a palate cleanser to a lot of other war games out there. And so a lot of people dabbled and just gave it a go. And there was a bit of a running joke, I remember, on the day where we were all surprised that people actually played this game. It's just, we thought it was an art project. You actually roll dice. But from that first instance where a load of us, well, I'll say a load of us, a handful of us met up, and it was, when was it? It was like Easter of 2022. It kind of just grew from that. After we'd actually publicly announced that some people had met up in person to play Turnip28, like as an organised thing, it got a lot more traction. And I think it follows the mantra of, if you make it, they will come. Because the club originally, the Bristol Gaming Collective in Bristol, like, great bunch of people. Highly, highly recommend to look up for what they do. I'll put a link in the description. Bristol Gaming Collective, they're the ones that initially said, look, would you like to put on like a turnip demo day? Like, would you be okay being like the host of, get some armies in and put people through the game, because some people in Bristol are talking about it, and there's a bit of, curious attraction, or just curious interest. And I was like, yeah, sure, that seems fine. Seems like a fun thing to do. It very quickly flipped to, instead, we'll run a ticketed event, because the amount of people that just got in touch and showed interest. They said, can I play Turnip28? And so in November of 2022, so 6 months after we first gathered and bimbled about to play the game, the first Turnip event happened. And it was, I remember it was supposed to be such an informal event. I thought I was just doing it for people in Bristol. I thought it was going to be for people who were into wargaming, who were affiliated with the Bristol Gaming Club and wanted a reason to turn up and play Turnip in just an organised place. And at first TurnipCon, people attended from like the northeast, like flew down from Scotland, travelled from like, who was it? Someone travelled from like Colchester area, like Far East. Like people were driving hours to get to Bristol. And I appreciate, people who live in larger countries will say that that's perfectly normal, but it's definitely irregular to travel more than a few hours to like an event, I'd say. So it was very unexpected, but utterly remarkable that people were willing to commit to this kind of thing. And I think that energy and that blind enthusiasm that people had, that kind of level of commitment that people wanted to show up, it was infectious. It really was infectious. And the first TurnipCon was actually called the Grand Tournament of Bornhaven or something. There was a suitably silly in-universe name. And it just, because it was too wordy and a very silly name, people suddenly jumped on, well, we'll just call it TurnipCon, the first official event. And it stuck. Now, what's happened after that is that everyone thinks it's a convention, which it isn't at the moment. So that's a big thing. A big thing I want to clear up is that TurnipCon has gone from an 18-ticket event to a 28-ticket event. And if we can get a big enough venue, we could potentially run a 50-ticket event. With then the capacity to consider tickets that aren't just hobby, like wargaming stuff, right? So like hobby tickets or attendance tickets or stalls and vendors and that kind of thing. So there's a lot of plans in the works, but we're mainly trying to find a venue. So yeah, it's growing. TurnipCon could well become a con. And hey, aim high. Why not? It's kind of blown up out of nowhere. And I want to thank everyone that attended the first TurnipCon and everyone that's attending TurnipCons. It means a lot. As somebody who just wanted to make a silly little event, and now it's an even sillier event.
And what's your favourite root vegetable?
Probably a parsnip.
Is it?
I'm down for the parsnip.
Oh, carrot.
Mangelwurst.
Beetroot.
It's got to be potatoes again. It's a winner.
Parsnip.
Cabbage.
Now, it's really important to make clear that TurnipCon is not the only Turnip28 event or even informal gathering for the game. There is a whole host of people that are interested. There's loads of other little events that run, and so I feel it only fair to try and advertise as many of them to you, because more than likely, maybe if you watch this and you live in some weird little corner of the world, you might be able to find something near to you, or maybe even be inspired. So we'll start in the UK. Obviously, TurnipCon, we've talked about that enough. Second one, Turnip on the Docks. That's a great event up in Grimsby in the northeast. We've got Spuddersfield in Huddersfield, which is like north central. I know as well there's a small cohort of turnips that live around the Oxford Reading area, in Hampshire on the south coast, and as well in Scotland. So hopefully there's something there that can cater to you if you're out in the sticks. Leaving the UK, I know in mainland Europe there is a small turnip growing in Berlin. There's and maybe some others in North Germany as well. And then if we leave Europe and go to the States, in the US, I know for a fact that something is being planned for Adepticon 2024. I'm afraid, whoever you are, if you're watching this, you know who you are. I've completely lost our chat log. I can't remember your name. But for anyone else who's going to Adepticon, there is going to be a couple of tables set up for Turnip. But I'm afraid I'm not going to be able to give you much more information there. I had a quick look through the Turnip28 Discord, and I just want to try and find some American states for people that are interested. There's a sizable gathering in Portland, in Minneapolis, Washington DC, Seattle, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Houston, and California. Yeah, I appreciate a bit vague, but it's what I could find from scrolling through. North in Canada, there are some gatherings or some people in Vancouver and Montreal. And outside of that, across the Great Big Sea in Australia, I know that there are some people showing interest in Sydney. I am also aware that there is an Australian Turnip28 Discord. I'm afraid I haven't been able to find the link for it in preparation for this video, but I think the big point to take away is if you could relate to something on this list and you want to play Turnip28, best thing I can recommend, come to the main Turnip28 Discord and ask around there, and people will direct you. That is the single Turnip28 Discord is the melting pot for all of this.
What's your favourite root veg?
Beetroot.
Least favourite root veg?
That's not a valid question. I don't acknowledge that.